This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that love the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your mower off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com. Hey, what's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And on this edition, we're going to be talking about Saints wide receiver Tre'Quan Smith and answering the question, should the Saints cut ties with Tre'Quan Smith? Now, I want to say thank you to everybody that is filing into the chat, those that are watching at home or wherever you are right now. I really do appreciate it. The reason I want to talk about the Tre'Quan Smith situation is because this is no opinion of mine, okay? Just because the title says this, that does not mean that's the direction that I'm going to go in. So I just want to let everybody know that from the jump. You know, sometimes when I come up with the topics of the show, you know, it probably is based on the pulse of what I see the Who Dat Nation has at that particular time. But let's talk a little bit about Tre'Quan Smith for those that may not know. On today, I'm doing this show on a Friday. On today, Tre'Quan Smith, along with cornerback Ken Crawley, were put on IR. Now, I know normally in seasons past, when you hear about a guy being on IR, it normally means that they're out for the season. Neither Ken Crawley nor Tre'Quan Smith are out for the season. When you put a person on IR, that means that they have to sit out at least 3 weeks. So after 3 weeks, Tre'Quan Smith and Ken Crawley can be eligible to play. But the question is, this is why we keep on doing these same things over and over again when it comes to Tre'Quan Smith. Tre'Quan Smith has been with the Saints since 2018, if I'm not mistaken. He got drafted in the 3rd round in 2018 by the New Orleans Saints. He was a really, he's a good, solid receiver, good possession guy, big body guy, about 6'2", 6'3", maybe about 215, and he has really good hands. He's not a guy that, drops a lot of passes out there. But the problem is Tre'Quan Smith keep having these injuries, man. I mean, back when he was drafted, I think he played in 15 games, and then the following year he played in 11, and then he played in 14 games last season. So when you look at it, he didn't really miss that many games. But I think the problem is with the Who Dat Nation is that we have this expectation for Tre'Quan Smith, especially since he has been like the longest tenure wide receiver outside of Michael Thomas on the team, So we looked at Tre'Quan Smith to be that number two. A lot of us always wanted him to be that number two, and it just never panned out. So to answer the question, should the Saints get rid of Tre'Quan Smith? If you ask me, the answer is no. No, I do not believe the Saints need to get rid of Tre'Quan Smith. Look, I understand that the guy, get injured at the most inopportune times, but Tre'Quan Smith is a really decent receiver. I'm not going to say he's a great receiver, but he's a good receiver to have on your team. If anything, this is going to affect his bottom line because he is going into a contract year, and this is, the way the guy plays is that's how he leveraged himself. So if he goes out there and he's not putting his best foot forward or he's hurt, that's just leverage for the New Orleans Saints. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but when his contract is up, I can really see the Saints re-signing him again. I mean, because they like him a lot. Maybe not to a long-term deal or nothing like that, not with a bunch of zeros, but I see the Saints trying to make an effort to re-sign Tre'Quan Smith again because he does so many good things that most receivers can't do. Like he's an above average blocker as a receiver. He's a good third down guy. He catches those tough passes. And, he's really smart when it comes to the Saints offensive play scheme. So this is a setback, even though a lot of people were counting on him. We seen him out there in the offseason working out with Jameis Winston. We seen him out there throwing Jameis Winston throwing the ball to him. He was looking good. He was looking crisp. He was looking fast. And we were finally happy and excited to see what he can do, in a Jameis Winston-led offense. But we're just going to have to wait till after 3 weeks. So when he comes back, I think that he's going to contribute. And we all know that the greatest recipe is winning. So if he goes out there and he becomes successful, this whole entire conversation is going to be completely negated. I mean, that's just the truth. That's just the way that we work. Sometimes we become prisoners of the moment because the situation is right in our faces. But when a guy comes in and he starts to produce, we tend to forget about the things that we said. Okay, so I just want to make that perfectly clear. I don't fall into that category. The Saints need to get rid of Tre'Quan Smith. I still think he's a valuable asset to the Saints. I just think that it's going to affect the way that he does the contract in the future. But I would love to hear from you. I'll be answering some of your questions and reading some of your comments. And thank you all so much for spending your night, because we're doing this on a Friday night. Thank you so much for spending your Friday night with yours truly. We'll start with Charles. Charles says it's time to let Smith go. Getting free money, can't stay healthy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't think they need to let him go. I mean, when you look at like some of the games that he missed, I mean, he didn't really miss that many, you know what I'm saying, to a point where it was like, oh man, this just is terrible. Like 2018, he played in 15 games. 2019, he played in 11. And 2020, he played in 14. So, I mean, one game he missed in 2018. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 5 games he missed out there, the following year. And then 2 games he missed, last year. So is it that many games, or is just the fact that it just seems maybe this is the thing right here. Maybe it's not him missing the games, but sometimes when he's playing, he's not as productive as we want him to be. But he might what he lacks in, like, probably catching that pass, he probably making plays, when it comes to blocking and stuff like that. Because I mean that is a part of a wide receiver's game. And like I said, when they throwing the ball, from not more times than not, he catches it. I can remember Tre'Quan Smith catching a crucial third down play. I want to say in that game versus the Chargers or something like that last year. And he caught a couple crucial passes, man, that kept the Saints in the game. Tre'Quan can't seem to stay healthy. Every season he get hurt. Now he does get hurt every season. That I can say. What up, TJ Latrell? What's going on? Gigatis is giving a shout out to Chemo, says, well, look at you minister, sir, man. Let's see. Joe says, who that TJ and family? Is it Sunday yet? Not yet. Still got a few more days, man. Smith is done, bro. Hurt magnet. I like him Montgomery. I'm liking Montgomery better. Yeah, I mean, he is getting hurt at a very inopportune time. He's one of those receivers that the Saints really rely on to perform. And him not being out there is going to be a huge blow. Rodney said, "What's up, brother? What's going on, Rodney?" Brian says, "Get him up out of here." All right. Let's see. Kenterio says, "Brother." Chemo giving a shout out to Kenterio. Kenterio says Tre'Quan needs to go. Tess says, "What's up? What's up?" Daryl says, "That's funny." Anna says, "I'm concerned about the receiving court, period." I think a lot of people are, because it doesn't have that much star power. And I get it. You want that one receiver that you can count on. But I have to reserve my judgment until I actually see this team play. I think that we are forming our judgment based on who we see and who we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, so the fact that we really haven't seen these guys, as a unit, as a team together, we're starting to get a tad bit nervous. But I don't know how the Saints are going to attack the Packers. But, you know, I don't know how the Packers are going to attack the Saints either. So until I actually see it, then I'll have like a real understanding, and maybe I'll be able to form my opinion based on that. Belinda says, "Hi, storm hit us hard in Terrebonne Parish, house total." Belinda, I'm sorry to hear that. I really am, and it's so unfortunate that you had a lot of people out here who are going through those type of situations, and my prayers go out to you and your family. I'm definitely got some stuff in the works right now. I'm working with a nonprofit organization to try to raise money for Hurricane Ida relief. So I'll keep y'all posted on that. I don't know if it's gonna, maybe we're gonna be doing a giveaway or we're gonna be doing something to raise money. So I'll have that for you all next week. Callaway about to replace him. Yeah, I think so. I think he is, but we'll see. He has to go. He only known for being a good blocker. One good game, Eagles. Let's see, a couple of years ago. Yeah, we went over 100 yards. I mean, 2018. I mean, what was that year that Drew Brees broke that record? I think he had over 100 yards there. And like I said, man, I just think that our expectations, sometimes our expectations can be so high on a person that it just seems like, they should be doing more. Like, we expected him to come in to be that number 2 receiver, and it never panned out. Now, if you're based in your expectations on that, then yeah, you know what I'm saying? He hasn't lived up to it. But I'm not going to say that he's like so terrible to a point where the Saints can't use him. I'm looking at it from a contractual standpoint. Like, he's going to lose money, and it's going to make the Saints. It's going to make the Saints negotiating power, like, I mean, just more dominant. Like, he won't have that much leverage when he go into negotiation. He won't. So I can see him. I can see the Saints re-signing him. I mean, that's just the way that it is. Sorry to hear about your house, Mrs. Brown. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear about that. He's decent, TJ, but unreliable. Yeah, I mean, he not the like he's not the most reliable receiver I ever seen, but he's not the worst receiver I ever seen. You know, like, can he be a solid number 3 receiver? Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, he's not a number 2 or a number 1 on nobody's team, but is he like in that rotation, can make some plays? Absolutely. I mean, I just feel like, maybe put him down in the, 3rd or the 4th, what I'm saying, receiver. If you need a play or something like that, you need another person to look up and they open, you're going to throw the ball to him, but I don't think it's to a point where he's just like, oh, I don't want to see him on the team. Like, I know he's a solid receiver. You know what I'm saying? You need solid receivers just as much as you need elite receivers and good receivers on your team. You still need a guy that's kind of solid, that knows the playbook, knows where you need to be. Those type of guys. And it's not like, he doesn't score touchdowns. I mean, he scored like 14 touchdowns in 3 years. So 5 to 2018, 5 in 2019, 4 in 2020. So, I mean, at least he's scoring and stuff like that. Like, at least when they're throwing the ball in the red zone, he catching them touchdowns. He's not dropping them. So, I mean, but like I said, I don't look at him as a number 2 receiver. I look at him as maybe like a 3 or a 4. So when guys start to like show me different things, I just kind of lower my expectations about them. I just think that we're so quick to call a dude trash. And I think that we call them trash because we had like such high expectations for him. But what you know what I'm saying? What is the expectation? You know what I'm saying? Like if you're looking at him like, oh, he's supposed to be a number two. He's supposed to. But you know what I'm saying? If you're looking at it like that, yeah. But if you're saying like he's a terrible receiver, he is not. He is not. He's not a bad receiver. He's just not what we thought that he was going to be. Would I want him like on my team for what he can do? Yeah, I would. When we drafted Tre'Quan, Sean Payton spoke about his lower body and he needs to work on that. TJ, do you think that is his issue? Well, that's pretty obvious, man. You know, keep on having these ankle and knee injuries and stuff like that. Yeah, that can be a problem. You know, he is kind of like slim in the legs and the thigh area and stuff like that. But he's an extremely fast guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he's elusive and stuff like that. But there's a lot of guys much smaller than he is, and they stay healthy. So I can't use that as an excuse. I just don't know who his strength and conditioning guy is. I don't know how he take care of himself in the off season or what. But maybe he needs to change his routine, and maybe that'll help him out quite a bit because you can't keep on getting hurt, man. Like that old saying, you can't make the club in the tub. Like so when you out there, when you're sitting in the tub, somebody else is trying to take your place, and if that guy's more productive than you are, then you're not going to see the field. We need another Lance Moore. Yeah, you definitely need a guy that's kind of a third down guy. I think that's what Kevin Hogan is for. Chris Hogan. Excuse me, Chris Hogan. That's what Chris Hogan is for. Chris Hogan is that third down guy. You know what I'm saying? A guy that probably can play in the slot. So I can see Chris Hogan out there probably working as a third down receiver. For Jameis Winston on Sunday. Tre'Quan Smith also had a great touchdown catch in the divisional game versus the Bucks. Yeah, he was wide open on that play. I mean, all you had to do is just catch the ball and run. But you can even tell in that game he was still dealing with an injury because the way he ran and how he limped, you can tell he was, trying to fight through it. Which that's one thing I can say about him. He's tough, man. He'll try to tough it out. So I got a respect for him in that regards. Or maybe he's missing the big games. I wouldn't get rid of him. We need all hands on deck. Now I don't want to get rid of him because, like I said, man, we have a tendency of being prisoners in the moment. Like I can remember Tre'Quan Smith catching touchdowns in crucial situations. Like I said, I just mentioned that Los Angeles Chargers game. I remember the game where, we played against the 49ers and it was a high scoring game. Tre'Quan Smith gave the Saints the go ahead touchdown, but wasn't it fault the offense of the 49ers drove downfield. So there's some times where Tre'Quan Smith came through and made some plays. I just like I said, I just think that if you have a certain expectation for him, maybe that's the reason why you're so upset. When I looked at Tre'Quan Smith, I never seen a number two receiver. I never did. You know what I'm saying? Like I never did. I always ask the question, can he be a number two? But I never seen this dude as that receiver. You can kind of tell what guys are going to be, as their career goes by, like the way that they actually play. Like when Michael Thomas came to the New Orleans Saints and Brandon Cooks was still here, you can kind of tell that Michael Thomas was going to emerge as being a really good receiver, a number two or a number one. Like you saw it. You know what I'm saying? He had that alpha male type mentality. You saw it. With Tre'Quan Smith, I never really saw that part of him. As long as I've been watching the New Orleans Saints, like you can tell, like when what guy is going to be who, the way they carry themselves. And Tre'Quan Smith never carried himself like that, So I never got those vibes from him. So I just felt like what I saw is what I got out of Tre'Quan Smith, and that has been the case. TJ, how do you feel about our wide receiver corps going into Sunday now that Tre'Quan is out? Well, look, I haven't seen Tre'Quan in weeks. So I was under the impression that he wasn't going to play anyway. I said that on the last episode. The last episode you all can check out if you didn't. It's only maybe like 10 minutes. But I talked about that. I said if a dude ain't practicing on Thursday, most likely he ain't playing. So I didn't expect for him to play no way. What do I think about our wide receiver corps? I think that they're solid enough to go out there and win a football game. And I also think they leave a different dynamic and Green Bay can't prepare for them because number one, they don't know how Jameis Winston, a New Orleans Saints Jameis Winston, is going to attack them. And number two, because you have a whole bunch of unnamed wide receivers that nobody really know what their capabilities are, that gives the Saints the leverage. Like Marquez Van Der Scanlon, you know what he can do, right? Uh, Devontae Adams, like you know what he can do. I mean, the only one that really leaves, a little bit of mystery is Amari Rodgers, the rookie out of Clemson. So I mean, as far as the Saints wide receiver group, like you don't know what these guys are capable of because the offense was kind of, I won't call it watered down, but it was extremely like, simplistic last year. A lot of quick slants, a lot of out routes, not too many 7 or 9 routes being ran in the New Orleans Saints offense over the last couple of years. So I think that Green Bay got to be up to the task because the Saints can throw them a lot of things that they're not prepared for. TJ, you think Jameis behind the 8 ball? We have so much to offer when we get everybody healthy and off suspension. Uh, well, I don't think that he's behind the 8 ball. You know what I'm saying? I think that Jameis Winston is going to have his best season as a pro. People like to bring up that 2019 season because it's just low hanging fruit. But Jameis Winston had some solid seasons before. You know what I'm saying? This guy was rookie of the year. I think the year back in 2017, he only threw like 11 interceptions. So it wasn't until Bruce Arians came to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers where you just saw these like, this huge volume of interceptions, like in huge bunches, which comes with the territory with Bruce Arians. That's just the way that it goes sometimes. Because the ball is up mostly in the air, guys are going to catch it. But he's had some solid seasons before, but people just like to talk about that because it makes him look like he's just not that good. But I just think that with Sean Payton, with the Saints offense, is going to make him a better quarterback because Sean Payton is not one of those coaches that force a guy to be what he is not, like some of these other coaches do. I feel like he's going to allow Jameis to be who he is, and he's going to build around him and then bring guys in that kind of fits his skill set. What type of game plan you think Sean will draw up for Jameis? I think you're going to see a lot of explosive plays down the field. See, people get caught up in that 2020 season once again. They get caught up in it, and they just think that, like they want Jameis not to throw the ball around, not, to keep it simple. And, it's like drive this car, 10-2. Yeah, like that's what they want from Jameis, right? Because they afraid that if he throws the ball, it's going to be a mistake because that's what's been put into our subconscious. That, like he puts the ball in the air and it just bad things happen. But I don't look at it like that. I think that Sean Payton is embracing his moment. I think that Sean Payton is going to show everything that Jameis Winston have. And I ain't gonna lie to you. I think the Saints are going to be a high-powered offense. I think the Saints are going to be scoring a lot of points. If the Saints can score 32 and 30 points with Drew Brees nickel and diming it down the field over the last couple of years, there's no way in the world that I feel like Jameis Winston, with the arm strength that he possesses and the explosiveness of those players that the Saints have, that the Saints can't be up there again and be one of the most potent offenses in the league. That's the way I look at it. I'm not nervous at all. I think it's going to be a combination of running as well as the pass, but he's going to throw the ball quite a bit against the Green Bay Packers. I can tell you that right now. Okay, so don't be surprised when it happens. It's a big toss up to say depends on Kevin White or another wide receiver stepping up. Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Saints got high expectation for Kevin White. That shocked me that they decided to put him on the practice squad instead of letting him walk. I definitely thought when he dropped those 2 quick slant passes, I really thought his career was pretty much over after that. And the fact that the Saints want to keep him here, they must really see something in him. And maybe it's a confidence thing. Kevin White has been dealing with injuries like his entire career. Maybe that's in the back of his head, and maybe it's affecting his, his game. And maybe the Saints feel like they can kind of, trim through the weeds, so to speak, to try to fix him. So I mean, we all know the Saints love themselves a project. So Kevin White might end up being a pretty decent receiver for the Saints. I mean, he was a 7 pick overall, and it wasn't because he wasn't good. Is the fact he haven't been playing. He just been dealt bad luck, by the gods. So far, has been healthy and has given the fan base a reason to have let me see, cautious optimism. Yeah, that's true, Aaron. Giving guys call like the whole reason why people aren't picking the Saints and they loan the Saints because because of Jameis Winston. People got a whole wait and see mentality when it comes to Jameis Winston. And they feel like, if Jameis Winston goes out there and plays well, then all of a sudden you can get excited about the Saints. But I just think that people are just being careful about them, and that's understandable. And even Jameis would tell you that. Jameis feels like he has something to prove, and the public wants Jameis to prove that. And I feel like he can. Tre'Quan needs to work with who Kamara and Quan work with. Yeah, like I said, maybe it has something to do with his strength and conditioning. If that's the case, then maybe you need to get somebody else that can help you out with it. I remember Tre'Quan Smith caught that pass against, I believe it was San Francisco, and got all bloodied up, but held on. No, that was against the Falcons. That's when Demonte Casey hit him and knocked his helmet off. That was against the Falcons, inevitable. Let me scroll down a little bit, folks, to Russell. Russell says, I said we got to give Smith one more chance, just one. Well, like I said, I just think the Saints going to re-sign him again. I think they like him enough to re-sign him. If we up here talking about P.J. Williams every single year and the Saints keep on signing him back, what make you think they ain't going to sign back, Tre'Quan? Were you okay during the storm? Yeah, I was okay. The storm didn't really affect me. I'm out here in South Carolina, so we didn't have any like bad weather or anything like that this way. So yeah, but my mom and my brothers, out there in Mississippi and Louisiana, they were affected by the storm. Saints picked up his fifth-year option this year, so his contract won't be until 2022 or 2023. Yeah, I mean, look, it's about having that leverage. You know what I'm saying? So whenever he try to re-sign or renegotiate his contract, it's not going to be a good look for him. It's Animal D. Thank you very much for $5. Says, love the podcast. So what do you think the excuse will be if the Saints beat the Packers and mess around and go undefeated? Well, I don't see the Saints going undefeated no matter how good they play. That's just the way that the NFL works. I mean, you got to have a little luck on your side, and you got to be extremely good to run the gauntlet. And especially if you add on an extra game, which is the 17th game of the season. I don't see them going undefeated, but I don't see the Saints being as bad as people making them out to be. Yeah, we already seen that the media don't know what the hell they talking about. Like, they've been praising and worshiping and going to the first church of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all season long. Oh, nobody's going to beat them. Oh, they unbeatable. They got playmakers on every level. And then the Cowboys go out there and give them a run for their money, and people can talk about, and now they saying, the Cowboys are just better than what we thought. No, man, no. This is going to be a reoccurring situation. When a team is a Super Bowl champion, they get every team's best shot. That is why I keep telling folks, and I don't know why y'all just buy into this nonsensical rhetoric that they be spitting and spilling all over the place. Stop listening to these pundits, man. Like, they make you believe and believe all these things like, oh man, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're scary. They might win it all again. They might go undefeated. Like, all these different things. Like, they make you feel all these different types of ways, have you nervous about your team. I ain't never, like, seriously, I ain't never, and I'm still not. After one game, before the game, I've never been nervous about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They are a beatable team. They're a beatable team because their coaching staff makes them a beatable team. Situational football, they have a guy on their side in Tom Brady. I will give them that, but they're a beatable team. They're a very beatable team. But back to the New Orleans Saints. I don't know what the excuse would be. It better be that they are better than what we thought, the same way they gave the Cowboys their credit. And we all know that they disappoint every single year. Every single year. It's time to look for another receiver. Octavia, me personally, I don't think so. I'm willing to help TJ. I'll contribute whatever I can. Clifton, I appreciate that. I have more information next week, and I'll let you all know how you can do that. Why keep a guy that stay hurt? Because he contributes. And like I said, looking at some of them games that he missed, it's not that many. It just looks like, look, I think a lot of people think he missed more games than what he did because he's not as productive as we want him to be. So it seems like he missed a lot of games because I had to look too. I'm like, he missed a lot of games. And I started looking at games played. And I'm like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't really missed those many games. It just maybe we feel like he needs to be more productive, and when he's not, then we know that he often gets hurt. It's like, man, he get hurt a lot, but he be out there. TJ, I low key got this feeling we could beat the Packers 28-24. I don't think that, we could. I think there's a strong possibility. You know, what's making everybody like not pick the Saints? Like it's Jameis Winston. If Drew Brees was the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, the Saints would be the favorite. Because Jameis Winston is the quarterback, people are picking against the Saints. It's this whole wait and see approach. The Saints are still a good football team, contrary to popular belief. But it's just the fact that people are unsure about Jameis Winston and what he brings to the table. So therefore, they're going to pick against the Saints. It's the Jameis Winston effect. He like another Brandon Cooks. Who? Who we talking about here? I know he talking about Tre'Quan Smith. Nah, he's nothing. He's nothing like Brandon Cooks at all. TJ, I expect Deontay Harris to be the matchup nightmare against the Packers secondary. Go Saints, still praying for the New Orleans and surrounding areas. Yeah, Kevin, I definitely expect Deontay Harris to be a part of the Saints offense. He's been chomping at the bit. We know that he's an explosive guy. We know that he has a little speed under him, and we know that he can get under those footballs that Jameis throws down there down the field. So interested to see how the Saints are going to open it up for him, and know they're going to have probably like a lot of jet sweeps and wide receiver screens for him. He does really well in that, doing those type of plays. So I think Deontay Harris can be a huge factor. Bruce Arians has a lot of respect for him. He said that he was more nervous about Deontay Harris than he was going against Michael Thomas again. So that goes to show you the type of respect that Bruce Arians has for him. JLJ says salute. Thank you very much for the $5, man. I appreciate that. Ernest says, what do you think is going to be our number two for the game on Sunday? To be honest with you, I think it's going to be the Marquez Callaway Alvin Kamara show, because that's what it was before. And then you probably can add a little bit of Troutman and Juwan Johnson on there. So I think the Saints are going to utilize them. They're going to utilize Taysom. So the Saints got weapons. You know what I'm saying? You might get a couple passes thrown to Lil Jordan. And Deontay Harris, they might have something cooking up for him. So it's not like all hope is lost. I've seen the Saints win 13 games using just Kamara and Michael Thomas all season long. So I'm not worried about what a game plan is going to look like for the Saints and to be competitive. Smith is not that guy. Yeah, he's not that guy. Clifton, Cliff, he's not. And I think that we just need to embrace that. Not to say that he's a bad receiver. Just because you're not the guy that everybody thinks that you are doesn't mean that you're not good. Just means that you're not as good as we thought. But he's solid. He's a solid receiver. This is my first time hearing this. So who's the next man up after Crawley? Well, you got Paulson Adebo. Paulson Adebo is going to start most likely. The rookie out of Stanford had a really good preseason, really rose to the occasion. I'm really confident that he's going to do a good job. And you're probably going to have Desmond Trufant rotating with him, and probably going to have PJ Williams, doing this, multifaceted secondary thing. So, and also the Saints use a lot of 3 safety sets. They use a lot of 3 safety sets going out there playing. So they're going to have a game plan for him, but Paulson Adebo is going to be the one that's starting. Demetrius says, good stuff, TJ. Maybe I need to lower my expectations for him. I think that's what it is. I just think that, man, it's just like having high expectations. Like we all pretty sure have done this before. Like maybe let's look at a relationship, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you might think that this was the best thing in the world, right? The relationship. You think that y'all gonna be together forever, right? It just don't pan out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it don't mean that just because it panned out don't mean that person is terrible, right? Sometimes like when we in relationships, like they end bad, but sometimes they end in a way that it's just a mutual agreement. Like we're just not good for each other. Don't mean that you're bad. Don't mean that they're bad. Just means that it just didn't work out. I feel like it's the same way with Tre'Quan. He's not as good as people made him say. He's not as good as people saying that he is. He's not as bad as people saying that he is. I just think that we just need to lower our expectations for him. and I feel like if you do that, then you'll be better. TJ, what do you think the game plan is for Sunday? How will we attack the Packers defense? Well, look, I think that the Packers are going to be ready for Alvin Kamara. I think that Kenny Clark, the defensive tackle for the Packers, he didn't play last game, and I think that was a huge benefit for the Saints. I think that they are going to make sure that the Smith brothers, Preston and Zadarius, are on the outside and stuff like that. Have containment. You know what I'm saying in a rush. You know what I'm saying in a run stopping, and I just think that they're going to try to neutralize Alvin Kamara, and they're going to try to get Jameis Winston to beat him. Now, I really believe that. Like I think they're going to try to stuff out the run because I don't know if they believe in Jameis being the person that be able to lead the Saints to victory. So I think that they're going to put a lot of pressure on Alvin Kamara. You know what I'm saying? They're going to try to focus the game plan on him, and they're going to, they're going to dare Jameis Winston to beat him. TJ, do you still have Lil Jordan Humphreys? He's not a go-to receiver, but I think he could help with blocking and be a factor when his number is called. Your thoughts? Yeah, I think Lil Jordan Humphrey is a good receiver. I think that he struggles with confidence. That if I'm a guessing man, and based on like some of his body language, I think that he struggles with his confidence. I think that those touchdowns that he's gotten in the preseason, and him dropping passes, and Taysom and Jameis going right back to him and stuff like that, trying to build up his confidence. It helped him in the preseason. So I think going into the regular season, you're going to see a better Lil Jordan Humphreys. It's just something about when a guy gets that first touchdown, or when you get that first catch and somebody tackles you, it kind of wakes you up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ever like play football and you probably started off a little sluggish, and then you probably just take that first hit, like somebody like just hit you, not even tattoo you, but just hit you, make you fall. You like, okay, that woke me up. You know what I'm saying? Like, now I'm in the game. And then all of a sudden, like, you're probably playing. It don't seem like you're finding success when it comes to the end zone. You finally get in there, and it's like, man, you want that feeling all over again. So that kind of stuff builds up your confidence, and I feel like that's what Lil Jordan was missing. But the preseason helped him to develop that. So I'm looking for him to have a pretty solid season. Anna, thank you very much for the $4.99. Callaway is a likely number 2. Yeah, I agree with that. The chemistry between he and Jameis Winston is really good. I wasn't mad when Brandon Cooks left. Michael Thomas stepped up. I think the Saints seen the writing on the wall. They seen 2 alpha male receivers that they knew for a fact they weren't going to be able to pay both of them. And they probably looked down the line who we felt would give us the most success. And they chose Michael Thomas. And if you look at history, it's proven them right. I mean, Brandon Cooks has had some solid seasons, solid season with the Patriots, solid season with the Rams, but he's never been on a level of Michael Thomas. So the Saints actually won that. I wasn't mad. I already read that. Time for Humphrey or Kevin White on Sunday. Lil Jordan is going to play. Lil Jordan is going to be in that starting rotation. I mean, this is his 3rd season in the NFL. So he's been on the practice squad twice. It's time for him to step up. 3rd season, you're going to see Lil Jordan Humphreys out there. You should know the playbook like the back of your hand. And you definitely should understand the audibles and what the offense wants from you. Callaway is definitely a number 2. Yeah, we need Dez. Look, I don't know if we actually need Dez Bryant or not, but even if Dez Bryant was to be signed by the New Orleans Saints, he still won't be playing. It'll probably take him a couple weeks in order for him to kind of grasp the playbook enough to be any type of a threat going into a game. Adebo about to be snatching chains. Well, look, I think he has a great upside. I think he's a big physical guy. Look like he's been in the league for a while, man. Like, he got a grown man body. You know what I'm saying? Like, like some rookies come into the league, they're still on a smaller side, man. He looks like a big, you know what I'm saying, a big cornerback. He reminds me like almost like Xavier Rhodes when it comes to size. And he's extremely instinctive, and I think he can be a ball hawk. I think that this guy can generate some turnovers. And I think with the combination of Chris Richard, he can actually be one of those shutdown corners and those guys that, can be like a a Richard Sherman type guy. And I'm not saying that just because he went to Stanford. I'm just saying because they have the same similar background. Both of them used to play receiver and then they transitioned to the cornerback position. And I mean, when you play receiver all those years, man, you get taught how to catch the ball. That's why like most like guys in the secondary who end up being ball hawks, they probably played one time or another. They probably played receiver or running back at one time, and that taught them how to catch the ball. So that's why you see like a lot of interceptions from guys that used to be former receivers. Roby gonna be a beast out there. No fly zone. Well, I hope so. I have a wait and see approach when it comes to that. I just want to see it actually happen for it to take place. I think that the Saints really did their due diligence, and I think they like Bradley Roby. They wouldn't have gave up what they did if they didn't. Who that just ready for the new era of the Saints to start? Yeah, I mean, yeah, Pat, I agree with you. It is a certain level of excitement that I have that I haven't had in years past. Like, of course, I'm always excited about football. I mean, I love football. I love the NFL. I love talking football. I'm even, I talk like NFL, like even when I'm not just talking about the Saints. There's so much stuff that I follow, but it's just something about this season, man. It just, I won't call it a breath of fresh air, but it just it's an excitement in the air that I haven't had in a long time as a Saints fan. There's only a few times like I can think about these times. Like one, I'm saying, even though it didn't pan out, is when the Saints got Ricky Williams back in the day. Even though I was too young and too dumb to understand like how stupid that was about him giving up all that for him. When Reggie Bush got signed by the Saints, I was excited about that too. And I wasn't like super excited when the Saints signed Drew Brees. I mean, I knew Drew Brees was a good quarterback, but I mean, I was like, okay. And now this time, because now it's like we're transitioning away from Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? This is a new team, new representative, new face of the franchise, and Alvin Kamara and Cam Jordan and crew. So it's a different type of excitement that I have as a Saints fan versus years past. I'm gonna stroll down a little bit. Thank y'all so much for those that commented. I'm gonna go to Saints Life. Stephen A. Smith said that Jameis threw 121 interceptions the other day. He had me vexed. I can't wait for the Saints to make them all eat crow. I don't think he had 121 interceptions. He probably was saying that as a joke. Your boy Cut says hit that like button. Yeah, if you enjoy the show, if you enjoy the State of Saints podcast, you want to see the show grow, go ahead and hit that like button, man. I would really appreciate that. Well, back to Saints Life. Stephen A. Smith. Uh, the guy didn't throw 121 interceptions. I mean, Stephen A. Smith is an entertainer, so he's just trying to entertain folks. It's the reason why he be wearing them 10-gallon hats after Eric Cowboy lost, and he likes to troll Cowboy fans and stuff like that. He's an entertainer, so and he's a guy, in my opinion, that don't really know that much about football, don't really follow it. I don't think he has the passion that he has for football than he does with basketball. I don't think he has that same level of passion. I think that football is almost like a means to an end to him, and he relies heavily on assistants to give him information on it. Wait a minute. Do I see a mod and a wrench here? TJ, did you do this? If you did, thank you. Yeah, man. Yeah, I definitely made you a moderator, my friend. I mean, you've been supporting me since day one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been supporting the show since day one, and I appreciate that, man. So, yes, yeah, I did appoint you that position. So, congratulations, my friend. But just thank you, you know what I'm saying, for all your support, man. I mean, I remember, man, you was the fourth subscriber of the State of the Saints podcast back in the day. So, I mean, I appreciate appreciate your support and every show or every venture I do, man. You always support. So I appreciate that, man. Yes, it is time to give up on Smith. I'm sick of waiting for the dude to do anything meaningful for this team. A waste of a roster spot, in my opinion. Wow, Mike. Look, I understand your frustrations, but look, I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I'm just giving you my opinion. So if my opinion differs from somebody else, it's not me defecating on your opinion. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like since I've lowered my expectations of Tre'Quan, he's not as bad as I once felt about him. Because if you go back like to previous shows of me talking about Tre'Quan Smith, it's a whole different type of energy. But when I lowered my expectations, I was like, from what he does it well. When did this happen? Who that nation? Y'all did this for me. Let's see. No defense will be able to crowd the line and slow down Kamara. I agree with that. It's hard to stop that dude. You got to have some. Like the only way you can really stop Kamara, you got to have some linebackers, some really athletic linebackers. And I don't know if the Packers have those type of guys. I don't know if they have the athleticism at the linebacker group that can be able to neutralize Alvin Kamara. When they go up against teams like the Cowboys and they go up against teams like the Bucks, you know what I'm saying? Those might give Alvin Kamara quite a hard time because you have athletic linebackers. But if your team is like middle of the road, average linebackers, nah, he gonna have a field day. He gonna be eating out there. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit to Kim. Kim says, "We gonna win Sunday. Remember this message." Byron says, "How do you think the secondary going to do this year?" I think we're gonna have a solid secondary. I think that they might start off strong, more so than years past, because they feel like they have to. Like this isn't like a Drew Brees dependent offense. I mean, yeah, offense. Like this isn't a Drew Brees team. Like if you go out there slacking, what I'm saying, not doing your assignment, looking at each other, point, you're gonna end up like you gotta be under the impression that there's a possibility that you can get beat down. So I have a positive energy about the defense because when other guys came and stepped in, they always played much better. They kind of took a back seat when Drew got there. It's like they were driving the car at first, and then it was like, okay, Drew here. Let me pull over and rest my eyes. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of like how they played. But you don't have that luxury anymore. You don't have that. You don't have that cerebral assassin, so to speak, in Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? You got a guy that's new to the offense in Jameis. So you got to be able to help him out, give him more opportunities to make plays by giving him the ball back. Chemo says hit that like button. Let's see. Rise Shine Mobile Details says wrench around and give me a wrench. Hey man, like a few people, you know what I'm saying? Like I give a wrench to, and those like, that go to a person, man, that that's always here. Like Jerry is always, what I'm saying, been a part of the show. He's been here since the beginning. So there are certain people, what I'm saying, there's no disrespect to anybody, but I mean, he has been like a real, true supporter of the show. Not as like everybody has not, but I mean, he's been here since the beginning. So I gotta give respect to the man. Hey TJ, I thought Alex Armour was one of our good offseason signing, but dude made the practice squad. Your words on that. Damian, there are some times where teams are not going to use their fullback in games. It's not like when Daryl Mooch Johnston was here, playing in the game, or Mike Allstott. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you can activate and deactivate a player. You know what I'm saying? And a fullback is one of those positions. So I do see Alex Armour actually playing in some games where the Saints will probably activate him off the practice squad in order for him to play. I mean, take it for what it is, Damian. I mean, Rosas, the kicker, is on the practice squad, but I'm pretty sure the Saints are going to activate him when the game starts. So I think it's just a matter of if they actually need him to play, and if they need a fullback for what they're trying to do and how they're trying to attack a team, you're going to see him. Latrell says the media is tripping always. Tim, thank you very much for the $5. Says I love Trey, but he's looking like the offensive PJ Williams. He'll be a Saints chill Jesus come. Yeah. When Sean Payton likes a guy, he likes to keep him around, and he liked Tre'Quan Smith. Tampa Bay got lit up last night. They're not that great. I mean, look, I said this before, and I'm not trying to hate. Tampa is not as good as people say that they are, and the Saints aren't as bad as people making them out to be. You would think that Tampa won the division, and honestly, they got off like crooks, if you want to be honest with you, because not only did they not win a division, but they won a Super Bowl. Now their schedule is not as tough as the Saints, because if you win a division, the following year you play all division champions, right, of their respective conference. So if you play one team in the AFC West, right? You're gonna play the AFC West champions. You know what I'm saying? You playing a team in the NFC East, you're gonna play the NFC East champions. You know what I'm saying? If you're playing like that one game. So they basically getting off like bandits. So now not only are they not getting a first place schedule, they're getting the middle of the road schedule. And they playing some of them bottom feeding teams that was bottom feeders last year. Even though that's not to say that they won't be better this year. And like I said, I feel like every team that they play, they're going to get their best shot. Period. So I don't think they built like that. I don't think they built like that. I don't think they built for it tough, so to speak. And I think that they're gonna eventually, they're gonna lose some games. I ain't gonna say they ain't gonna make the playoffs. I think that's just asinine if you feel that way. I mean, they would literally have to fall off a cliff for them not to make the playoffs. But I just don't think they're gonna be good as people making them out to be. Clifton says, "Be cool, TJ." Clifton, thank you very much for being here. Appreciate that. Nick Wright had the worst take on the Saints. He said we'd be awful no matter who the quarterback is, and saying the roster is trash. Dude doesn't know anyone on the roster outside of Jameis, Kamara, and Thomas. Well, that just falls into that whole shock jock category. That's who he is. It falls into that whole shock jock category. Anything that I can say to try to ruffle some feathers, so to speak. I'm just gonna throw this against the wall, hope that it stick. Nobody really cares about what Nick Wright says, man. Like Nick Wright is I I don't even want to say like he's not like to me, he's not even like one of the guys that I think of when I think about analysis. Like he's like bottom of the barrel because all those guys are just a bunch of craze, attention seeking, like just shock jocks. That's all they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not about getting it correct. It's not about doing your homework. It's not about doing research. It's just about being seen and getting money. You know what I'm saying? And I understand that, you know, being in that position, you want to make money. But look, I'm all about being a capitalist. I hope that one day, I'm able to sit behind a mic and just be solely dependent on just doing podcasts and stuff like that, have my own podcast, somebody contractually paying me and stuff like that. I hope that I get to that point one day, but not at the expense of selling my soul. Like I'm just not gonna do it. Like I'd rather be the most uninteresting dude that keep it 100 than a guy that just says a whole bunch of stuff just so ratings can come in and I can get paid. Like, nah. If you're gonna do a job, do it well. Right? They literally say that about every Super Bowl defending champion every year. Can they go undefeated? Yeah, I mean that's kind of lazy commentary, of course, Kirkland. They do say that, but it's just the way that it's just so how they're so like confident that this can happen when it comes to the Bucks. Like they ask that question every single year, but it's like they have this confidence, like this arrogance about the Bucks. Like I don't see it. Like I don't see it. I look at a team that had a lot of issues, got hot, and won a Super Bowl. It's not like it's not like they were just out there blowing teams out. You know what I'm saying? Like going to the Super Bowl. Like it wasn't like that. They dominated the Kansas City Chiefs because the Kansas City Chiefs didn't have offensive line. How you beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I tell you right now. I can tell you how to beat Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If you have a good offensive line, and you know what I'm saying, like if you have a good offensive line and you can throw the ball down the field, you can beat them because they try to rush, you know what I'm saying? Because they try to rush with four. You know what I'm saying? They also try to blitz sometimes. So if you're blitzing, then that means that's man-to-man coverage. So because Thibault like to blitz a lot, you got guys coming that's one-on-one on the outside. So if you got a quarterback that can sling that thing, you can beat them. And if you have offensive line that can stop and neutralize their front four, you definitely are going to beat them. That's just the way that it goes. And you'll probably have Tom Brady come through with some late game heroics. But the way the Saints played offensively kind of played into their strengths because they have really athletic linebackers. So a lot of those short passes, those dump offs to Alvin Kamara kind of plays into the hands of their linebackers because they so fast. They're susceptible to get beat in that secondary because Ty Bowles like to blitz a lot. So if the Saints play them, I think the Saints will have a good chance because the Saints have a good offensive line. And now, you got somebody that can throw the ball down the field. So not only Like the Saints was beating up on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Drew Brees. So imagine what they can do with a guy who can do a little bit more with the football at this stage than Drew Brees can. You know, what's going on with our tight end situation? Well, I didn't hear anything about Adam Troutman or Nick Verrett missing any practice, so I assume that they're going to play. And also, you got Juwan Johnson out there. I think that he's going to have a solid game as well. I think he might be one of those matchup nightmares. I'll be ripping them. Thank you very much for $2. $2 says you forgot to give me a wrench. I'll be ripping them. I don't even know who you are, man. You changed so many times, man. Like you might have a green logo by you, a purple logo, a blue logo. So I don't know who I'll be giving it to. So I don't know. You come in all different shapes and forms, even disguise yourself as other people. So I wouldn't know who to give it to. Let's see. And TJ, I'm your boy Damian Green. Just been offshore the past couple weeks, but been listening on Spotify. Just changed my profile. Yeah, Damian, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Man, good luck to you, man. I know offshore jobs and stuff like that, they have you gone for a while, but I appreciate that support. Thank you so much. I'm gonna read a few more, then we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here, folks, because it's where I'm at is past midnight. Roby move is also a future move. This Malcolm Jenkins last year with the Saints, I believe CJ Garner Johnson will move to the strong safety position. Roby will be our nickel and Lattimore Debo on the outside. That will be lethal. Yeah, that'll be a good little fit. Or you can draft us another safety, where you can have CJ Garner Johnson doing the same thing. So that might be the route that they go. TJ, who's your breakout Saints player this year? My breakout Saints player, Pete Warner. I say Pete Warner probably gonna be my breakout, but I would it would not surprise me if Paulson Adebo went Defensive Rookie of the Year. That wouldn't surprise me at all. I just think that the combination of Chris Richard and the way this guy approached the game and how smart he is as a football player, I think it's a recipe for him to have a lot of success. I mean, pending pending injury. If he don't get injured, what I'm saying? Like, so if he doesn't get injured, he's gonna be fine. Fate Base says, great to see you as a moderator, Chemo. Yeah, man. Also with Chemo, man. Chemo is one of those guys as well that I appointed. 2 more days. This game will be exciting against the Packers. Looking to see how Jones Jr. takes a bigger role replacing Murray. Yeah, I'm interested to see that too. I'm happy that Latavius Murray found a home in Baltimore. But I'm interested to see what Tony Jones can do. I think that he can be a good complimentary back as long as he stays healthy. Enough with the talk. It's time to line up and play football. I hope the NFL is sleeping on the Saints. Man, they've been sleep. Rip Van Winkle. You know what I'm saying? they sleep, but let them stay sleep. I don't care, man. I don't care if they sleep. And you shouldn't either. Let them fly under the radar. Stephen A. sold his soul. His hate for the Cowboys, but kids Jerry Jones behind. Yeah, I heard that Jerry Jones was on the was on ESPN First Take. On the other day. When Michael Irvin was on there. Yeah, I checked that out. Yeah, but yeah, man. I don't know if some of y'all checked it out, man. I had a Jerry Jones. I had a Jerry Jones impression the other day. I had a Jerry Jones impression, so you have to check. So you have to check that out. Let's see. You got to change your name to Chemo Wrench now. That's Josh. You know, but let's see. Let's move on a little bit. Let's see. I love when the national media counts us out. We always seem to play better when we are overlooked. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like that. That is true. You know what I'm saying. But I just say, man, let them keep flying under the radar. I ain't got no problem with that at all. Hoodie Jube, thank you very much for the $4.99. Y'all make sure y'all check out Hoodie Jube's YouTube channel. He says if a Debo starts Sunday and balls out, and it shows he belongs here, then starting week 2 and on, do you start Roby there or let the young man keep playing? You let both of them play. You probably have like Roby on the inside and maybe like have him rotate to the outside if needed, But I think that the Saints are probably going to have him like on the outside, and man, I just don't feel like the Saints drafted this dude just for him to be playing on the inside. So you might get a rotation, guys switching between the nickel as well as the outside. Did you hear about Lattimore hurting his knee? Yeah, he practiced limited on Thursday, but he had a full practice on Friday. So he's playing. Sean Payton going to use Taysom like he really wants to. He just can't fumble. Yeah, that's what we need. No fumbling. What up, TJ? How was your day? Man, I had a good day, man. I had a great day. Stopped by my wife's job, got a booster shot, you know, and then I came home, cleaned up a little bit because I ain't have to go to the station. I just had to do my afternoon show remotely, and picked up Paxton from daycare and came home, and that's basically it, man. I had a pretty good day, good Friday, no complaints over here. Let's and we'll probably just read. Let's read two more. Pammy says, has been shut down due to COVID, but I'm still line dancing. And Jump Out Jay says, "Sup, fam? To answer your question, no, Tre'Quan ain't it." So, begin with a Tre'Quan statement, end with a Tre'Quan statement. But thank you all so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. But State of the Saints podcast, I got to make sure that I mention the fine folks at manscaped.com. Make sure that you go to manscaped.com, use the promo code State of Saints. And ladies and gentlemen, I know y'all see these great products that have been behind me for quite a few episodes. On this Sunday, week 1, Saints versus the Green Bay Packers, all of these items are going to be gone because we're going to be having ourselves a contest. And I'm going to be asking some questions. And the first people that give me the answer to the questions that I ask and send it to me via email, they will win some of these items that are behind me, courtesy of manscaped.com. So make sure that you check out the State of the Saints podcast live post-game show right after the Saints versus Green Bay Packers games, and find out the questions so you can win some of these great items from manscaped.com. But use the promo code State of Saints. That's all one word. Also, you can check out previous episodes on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM. Hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed the State of the Saints podcast, and subscribe to the channel. And also check out the State of the Saints podcast on Facebook, facebook.com, search the State of the Saints podcast, and follow me on Twitter at TJJones8, TJAY Jones 8. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?